2 hours or thereabout on the theme of today, which is 1 year of PCNGi leadership, driving affordable energy, creating jobs, and unlocking business opportunities for Nigerians. So, to set the ball rolling properly for this virtual conference, please permit me to read out the profile of our special guest, Barrister Ismaeel Ahmed, OON. Barrister Ismaeel Buba Ahmed, OON, is a lawyer, public policy strategist and administrator whose career has spanned youth mobilization, social investment, and more recently, Nigeria's clean energy transition. As executive chairman of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, PCNGi, he is leading one of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's flagship programs under the Renewed Hope agenda, aimed at reducing transportation costs, expanding energy access, and accelerating the adoption of cleaner, more affordable fuel alternatives across Nigeria. A native of Kano State, Alhaji Ahmed studied law at the University of Abuja, graduating with a Bachelor of Law LLB degree in 2005. He proceeded to the Nigerian Law School, Abuja, where he was called to the Nigerian Bar in 2006. Determined to broaden his understanding of global governance and international affairs, he earned a master's degree in international relations, communications, and diplomacy from Webster University, St. Louis, Missouri, United States in 2008. His legal education, complemented by international training in diplomacy and communications, has shaped his pragmatic approach to public administration and policy implementation. Ahmed's political and public service journey began long before he assumed national office. He played an active role in the formation of the All Progressives Congress, APC, contributing to the party's manifesto development and later founding the APC Youth Forum, where he served as its pioneer national chairman. Through that platform, he became one of the party's leading youth voices, promoting greater political participation among young Nigerians and helping to build a new generation of political leadership. Between 2018 and 2022, he served as Senior Special Assistant to former President Muhammadu Buhari on the National Social Investment Program, NSIP, one of Africa's largest social intervention initiatives. In that capacity, he worked across government institutions and development partners to strengthen the implementation of public communication of programs designed to support vulnerable Nigerians, including Empower, Trader Money, Market Money, and the Conditional Cash Transfer Scheme. The role provided him with extensive experience in policy execution, stakeholder engagement, and the management of large-scale government programs. His appointment by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as executive chairman of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative marked another significant milestone in his public service career. Tasked with driving Nigeria's transition towards cleaner and more affordable transportation, Ahmed has overseen the expansion of CNG conversion centers, encouraged private sector investment, strengthened technical capacity, and promoted the development of a nationwide gas mobility ecosystem. Under his leadership, PCNGi has become a cornerstone of the administration's efforts to cushion the impact of fuel subsidy removal while creating jobs, stimulating industrial growth, and improving energy security. Known for his calm disposition, strategic thinking, and consensus-building approach, Ahmed has earned a reputation as a results-oriented administrator who combines legal expertise with political experience and policy innovation. His ability to translate government vision into practical programs has positioned him among a new generation of public sector leaders focused on implementation, institutional reform, and measurable impact. In recognition of his contributions to national development and public service, Ahmed was conferred with the National Honor of Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON. His career reflects a steady progression from youth leadership and party organization to national policy implementation and economic reform, placing him at the forefront of Nigeria's drive towards sustainable development, inclusive growth, and a cleaner energy future. That, in a nutshell, is the profile of our special guest for today. So please join me in welcoming Barrister Ismaeel Ahmed, OON, to the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. Once again, our main topic for today is 1 year of PCNGi leadership, driving affordable energy, creating jobs, and unlocking business opportunities for Nigerians. So, before I go into the question, putting my question to our special guest, I have been reliably informed that our special guest has other pressing engagements directly from the president, no less, and he can only spare 1 hour with us on this conference. So, for which I dare say we are very grateful for, because I know the crazy schedule of our leaders. So sometimes when they agree to come to us, we really do appreciate them coming here. So what that means today is that he will be leaving the conference at around 5 p.m. It also means that our question and answer session will start almost immediately after fielding my question, which will be just 1 question to him. Then participants with questions are then advised to please begin to raise hands now so that you can be called to ask questions, because we have only 1 hour, and we will be we'll be giving everybody just 1 minute to fill your question. What you then do is, when you're given the floor, you say your name, where you are calling from, and go straight to the question. Because 1 minute is what we have, because we want to take as many questions as possible so that our special guest can leave dead at 5 o'clock, because it's like I said earlier on, he's got some special assignment from the president that he has to attend to at 5:15. So he needs to leave at 5 o'clock. So thank you so much once again for all the participants for coming, and for our special guests for being part of this program today. So I would just throw 1 question to our special guest, and after he answers, then we'll go to the floor to begin to field questions from our participants. And this is my question. The PCNGi was established by President Bola Tinubu to address the economic impacts of fuel subsidy removal to citizens, and to enhance local manufacturing, create jobs, and facilitate the transition to cleaner energy sources. So, with that in mind, sir, my question would be, will you say these objectives and targets have been achieved? If not, what are the challenges mitigating against this, against achieving these objectives, and what efforts have been deployed to move this initiative forward? So that's just my question. Thank you very much, sir. You have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Can I speak? And I
Yes.
don't know how. So first of
Yes.
all, I want to say thank you so much for having me on this, and I want to really, really congratulate you and every other member of this very august organization for keeping the fire burning. I would say that. I was in the last 3 weeks. I've been away. I've been in China, Italy, and UK. And I remember very well how you, when I was the national youth leader of the APC, I was in the UK and you hosted me to a lunch, you, Chief Ade, and so many other people. It's been almost, what, 6, 7 years ago now.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's beautiful to have this reunion and to see how far we have come along in this movement of progressives. That's number 1. Number 2, I just want to say that it is not an easy time for a lot of progressives in the country, APC members in the country right now. Truth be told, a lot of people, are feeling almost, there is almost a bolo. I won't call it a bolo. In America, we call it a bolo when we say that there is an APB out on some members of the administration, because people feel as if we are not doing all we can, because we are not telling our stories enough. We are not communicating to the general public enough. To have an organization like yours conduct this virtual town hall, repeatedly without feeling dismayed, without feeling discouraged. I think it's something that you should be commended for, and I commend it. I commend you seriously, and I commend the organizers of this. So thank you very much for having me. So the moment Prince Ade called me and he said that if I could be around for Saturday, I said, well, it's an opportunity and it's an honor for me to be here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
For your questions, I think it's very important for us to understand where we're coming from, in terms of in terms of alternative energy to, um, you know, the energy is a habit. It's no longer, it's not a hobby, it's a habit. When I say it's a habit, it takes time for people to change habits. People can change hobbies, people can change, a few things, but when it becomes a habit, it's difficult to change it. So people are used to a certain way of their energy for transportation, which is fossil fuels, diesel and PMS. To have people move away from that, because that is what they have known in the last, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, for example, it's a lot of work. So technology has to come into place. A lot of government sensitization needs to come into place to be able to sensitize the people that this technology is safe, and this technology is cheaper than what they have available. And because most vehicles are being produced with a PMS or diesel-based engines, people do not trust other people who are not the manufacturers of those vehicles to do conversions for them, and be able to have that, safely. So there's a lot of preconditioned mindset about alternative source of energy for transportation other than the ones that they are used to. But like I said, let's look at where we're coming from. Where we're coming from is that before 2023, before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office in May of 2023, there was some talk during late President Muhammadu Buhari on the issue of CNG. But this CNG conversation started way before then. I think it started towards the middle of President Jonathan's administration in 2012, 2013, when the issue of fuel subsidy removal became a hot topic at that time. And we all remember the Occupy Nigeria protest that happened in January of 2012. That was when the issue of CNG started, in Nigeria, whether we can use an alternative, because Nigeria is a gas country with some oil as opposed to an oil country with gas. Because, if you are listening to the news or if you listen to Nigerian stock, you think Nigeria, it's an oil country. It's more of a gas country because we have 200 trillion cubic feet of proven natural reserve of gas in Nigeria. So that is making us the sixth largest gas producers in the world and the first in the continent of Africa by far. And this technology has come to play that gas is an alternative to PMS in vehicles. It is cleaner, it is cheaper by far because we have it in abundance, and it takes a lot less to refine it and compress it and use it for vehicles. Iran has moved away from fossil fuels. They have moved almost all their 3.6 million vehicles to CNG. And that's how they are able to survive embargo and sanction after sanction and after sanction. Even though they have more barrels of oil than we do, for example, they have more proven reserve of barrel of oils than we do, they were able to survive because domestically they were not subjecting their domestic economy to the vagaries of international oil prices all the time because they were fully on CNG. China did the same thing for a while now. They are moving to EVs. Brazil did. Colombia did. Japan, almost all their mass transit at some point was on CNG as well. Even the United States of America. I remember when we were in Virginia, in Arlington, Virginia, and Washington, DC, we commute on buses that are powered by CNG. They don't talk about it often, because But that is what is being used mostly for mass transit buses in some of the most developed countries. India is an example as well. So now we are here in Nigeria. What we started from by 2023, we started with barely about 10 CNG stations, no, less than 10, about 4 or 5 CNG stations across the country. These are just private sector players who are trying to see whether it will catch on. But now we have 78 refueling stations, fully fledged gas stations in Nigeria in less than 3 years. Nigeria has the highest adoption rate of CNG all over the world. In 3 years, we have 78 refueling stations fully operational, 127 of them at different stages of development, and more are coming. We are trying to move away from about 24,000 filling stations in this country. Well, most of them are not working, or some of them are not working, but there are actively about 17,000 filling stations in this country. So for us to measure up to that point, we need at least about 2,500 to about 3,600 gas stations alone in Nigeria. Yes, if we are at about 150, 200, we're still scratching the surface, but we are moving faster than any other country has moved. And because it is capital intensive and it has to be private sector led, because it is a business. Government is not in the business of running a business. But what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to do and encapsulate from beginning was to say, okay, wait a minute, we are going to remove fuel subsidy because we have to. The country has to survive. And if the country has to survive, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. What is everybody else doing? The moment there is a fuel subsidy and then there are a lot of hue and cry in the country, the first thing leaders do is that, okay, let's cushion the effect. So what does cushioning effect means? Give them 10,000 naira as cash transfer, do what do you call it? Buy bags of rice in some cases, do this. So, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to find a sustainable way, sustainable and permanent alternative to this fuel subsidy. And gas was there for him to pick up, and electric vehicles of late. And then he said, okay, how can we do that? And he had experts come to him and discuss this issue with him. And once he was convinced, he gave his political impetus behind it. And that is where we are today. 2.5 years later, we are 78 refueling stations across the country in 23 states. We have about 350 conversion centers all over the country from basically zero. We have about 31 mother stations from about 2 of them that were in existence before. And we have more than 200, well, we have more than 150,000 converted vehicles, not even people that are bringing in. And then the TVS and Bajaj, those are the 2 major local assembly of Keke Napep in this country, reported to us that in the last 7 or 8 months, in every 1,000 kekes they sell, at least 8 of them, at least in every 10 kekes they sell, at least 7 are CNG based or electric based keke, which means people on their own are moving because it is a no-brainer. CNG is what 60% cheaper than fossil fuel, and it does the same thing, and it's cleaner. It does not take the same amount of maintenance. So to answer your question, Ambassador, we are not where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be. Let that be very clear. We have moved very far. In the last 1 year, we have quadrupled even the investments from private sector. We have attracted about $2.5 billion worth of private sector investment. Aliko Dangote alone bought 4,000 CNG trucks. And Aliko Dangote owns a refinery. And if an owner of a refinery who sells diesel and PMS is now using CNG to transport this I mean, this is not brainer. It's a no-brainer. It doesn't take any rocket science to tell you that this is, by far not only cheaper, but it's even more economical for him. So he has only by buying 4,000 trucks, and he told me he's bought 9,000. About 5,000 more are coming on their way. By buying 4,000 trucks, he has spent about $750 million to secure that. If he brings in 5,000 more, we're talking about almost $1 billion combined together. Greenville Energy, Assad Energy, Rolling Energy, AY Shafa. Everybody is putting in a lot of money and moving in this. Our job as a government is to create an enabling environment so that businessmen can thrive and the Nigerian public will feel the impact of cheaper cost of transportation in their businesses and in their economies of their families. And that's what we're doing. Now, there has been impact in some major corridors like Abuja and Lagos and Kano and Port Harcourt, but it's something that we are ramping up our numbers and making sure that we go to every nook and cranny of this country. We just launched the northern corridor of the CNG and EV. And that also goes for the electric vehicles as well. The electric vehicle market is going on its own without even a government's intervention. But what we are doing as a government is to make sure that we curate it in a way that it does not become a dumping ground for lithium batteries for a lot of people who are just bringing in all kinds of things to make sure, because we have a grid problem in Nigeria. We want to make sure that the rollout is systematic, is according to plan, and that wherever that we're going to get power to set up charging stations and battery swap stations so that people can be able to use it conveniently, safely, more importantly, and so that it becomes something that is an alternative to PMS-based engines.
Oh, thank you so very much for that expansive response. You came up with you came up with so many expose, if I may put it that way. But one particular one jumped at me, which is the fact that all along I've always thought we are a petrol-based country, but you just let us understand now that we are more gas-based than petrol. I never knew that.
No, we're a gas country with some petrol because we have 200 trillion cubic feet of proven
Yeah.
natural gas.
Yes.
Our oil is way less than 50 billion barrels as we speak today. So we are not. We are not even. Like I said, we are a gas country. We're not an oil country.
Wow, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
And I hope, most Nigerians too will be glad with that. So thank you so very much for that, sir. So because of the paucity of time, because we've got only 34 minutes more now to have you amongst us. So I want us to make a good use of that 34 minutes. So all participants that have any question to ask, please put up your hands now, because we want to get as many questions as possible to our special guest. 5 on the dot, he's leaving. I would, if you have 10 hands up, I'm sorry, you will have to put your question in the chat room for us to send to him. But if you know you want to be part of those that will ask your questions first, please put your hands up now. So without much ado, let me just hand over to my co-host, Barrister Tosin Olayinka. You have the floor now. You can unmute now. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, our distinguished global chairman, in person of Ambassador J.K. Adebola, for the opportunity once again. And again, I want to welcome specially our distinguished guest, Barrister Ismaeel Ahmed, the executive chairman, Presidential Campaign National Gas Initiative, PCNGi. You're welcome, sir. It's been lovely to have you in our midst.
Thank you.
Moving on to our global audience and participants, please, I would like you to indicate by raising your hands for your question or submission. And I'm going to start from Alaji Adams.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Good afternoon, the distinguished guest. Just quick questions I have. We know that the CNG will reduce the price of transportations. Is any indication that this price differentiation have been passed to the customers, or they're charging the prevalent price for the transportations? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So should I go ahead and answer, or should I just gather as much questions as possible?
I think we'll probably get as much question as possible, sir. So
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think I agree.
Yeah. Barrister Tosin, you have the floor. Well, looks like it's been, it's off now. So please, let me just take I think we have a Honorable Adewale online now. Honorable Adewale, you have the floor now, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
It's a quick one. Barrister Ismaeel, nice to see you again.
Thank you.
The first part of my question, you answered it partially because I knew during the time of President Buhari, you were all over the place. You visited virtually all television stations. You were in the House of Lords. Since 2003, we've seen little of you until recently. But I know you are working on that. So please, there's a negative narrative about the current government, and we need to push out all these positive vibes. And I'm sure you know what to do. Now, my second part is about 6 years ago in the United Kingdom, they were trying to get rid of a vehicle with diesel and petrol. And what the government did then was to give £5,000 to anyone who is buying an electric car. So I remember in 2002, I got my electric car and they paid off £5,000. The government paid £5,000 for me to have my brand new electric car then. Now, the question is, we have a lot of followership, especially a lot of them joined this Zoom. They work tirelessly to support our party. They have not in one day gained anything directly or indirectly. And when we invited them to come here, I told them that Barrister is coming here. Maybe they want to get conversion kit, or maybe they will get whatever, that there's something they should get as a member of our party. We are not even talking of public transportation now. What does APC, being an APC member with their registration and with their slip, what would they get from your agency as a member of the party? Please, I want you to talk on that. Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'll yield the floor to our special guest now. Then we'll go to more questions. Thank you very much, sir. You have the floor now.
Oh, thank you very much. First of all, let me start by answering the first question. I think government, in trying to incentivize the adoption of CNG and electric vehicles, have done two major things. In the beginning, we started by government procured a lot of buses and gave it to NURTW and the Nigerian Labour Congress for people to be using to go to places of work. But let's face facts. We are not economically buoyant at the moment. We cannot be able to afford to continue to, because we are 220 million people in our country. We cannot afford, the country can simply not afford to be dashing those kind of things. But what the government can do is to incentivize adoption. What does incentivizing adoption means is that first of all, the conversion rates will be as low as possible for commercial riders, even for private owners, car private owners, and hail cabs that we have dealt with. We have given them significantly reduced amount for conversion. Now we have introduced a financing scheme as we go along, included in conjunction with the Nigerian consumer credit company. That's the Credit Corps, which is also another initiative of the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He was one that created it. So together with more people like Money Point and OPay, we are coming together to see how we can set up a financing scheme where people can pay as little as possible to be able to get their vehicles converted and spread the payment of the conversion across about 6 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, 5 months, 10 months, whatever that they will agree with the financing institution, so that they can feel as little as a financial burden as possible in order for people to be able to do that. So that is in effect as we speak. And we have seen a ramp up in numbers of the people who are converting their vehicles. But more important than just the conversion, when I came in, my focus has been, okay, I have three main principles when it comes to CNG. That is availability, acceptability, and affordability. Anything that is not available is not cheap. Because if you say something is cheap, if something is being sold for 100 naira, for example, and you can get it for 20 naira in one shop, but then within 2 days in that shop, it finishes. And then you have to wait for 1 month again to be able to get that one of 20 naira. I'm sure after some time you give up and go back to your 100 naira because you need it every day. And because it's not available, it's not cheap. So the fact that it is cheap, but it is not available as far as I'm concerned. So the affordability comes with availability. So first and foremost, how do we make it available? Gas is a serious business. There are some people who are flaring gas in the gas flare. I'm sure those who are into the oil and gas sector know a lot about gas flaring. It's because they go to a well, they are being allocated an oil well, and then they go to a well, instead of finding oil, they find gas, and then they start flaring it so that they will get to the oil because it's the oil they want. Those gas flares, what we are working on right now is to make sure that we are able to convert it to cheap gas that we're going to synchronize through the pipelines, get it to a mother station, compress it, and then sell it into cascades and cars so that it becomes way, way, way cheaper. So we are working on that seriously, and that is happening. To answer your question is that we are moving in that direction. Government is incentivizing so many other points of correction because there's another danger. Because it is a business, because government cannot say that, fine, if you buy a CNG bus, for example, a CNG car or a CNG tricycle, we can give you 100,000 naira or 50,000 naira or 1 million naira. Government cannot say that, for example, because everything that has to do with money in Nigeria, you and I know very well, can be subject to abuse. So the point is, what can government do? Government can say, you know what? If you are supposed to buy CNG vehicle for 200 naira, and then the cost of bringing it to Nigeria is another 50 naira as custom duty. Government has taken off custom duty on CNG and bringing it down to 5%. For electric vehicles, we have worked hard. It is now zero duty. So that is the incentive we'll be able to give back. In places like UK and America, those are the producers. They are usually, most of these cars are being produced there, or they are major dealers of those cars there. So in Nigeria, we're working with local assembly makers, and for foreign companies like Toyota or BYD or whatever name that you are bringing from outside the country that are not local assemblies in Nigeria, we give you zero levy for bringing Nigeria. That is the incentive that for now we can afford to do that. But for government agencies and ministries that are patronizing CNG and EV, we have a special rebate and a special recognition that government gives to them to be able to incentivize the adoption on that. That is on that one. Number two, you said you haven't seen me as much in 2023. I think I've been on TV a lot, to be honest. To be honest, I've been on TV. I've spoken, especially radio and stuff like that. I think what people were requesting in the beginning, more importantly, was that people who are holding positions of authority should be able to explain to the people, what they are doing on behalf of the government and what the government is doing. Me, God knows I've been doing my part, and I've been encouraging people that I'm very close to do their part. We have just recently set up a progressive roundtable. Progressive roundtable is a roundtable of all the CEOs of federal government agencies within a certain age bracket, and the president has given us the go-ahead, that our job is not only to do think tank and sit down, but we have to be able to communicate effectively to the general public on the best narration of what this government has been able to do. And where we feel that we need government to take a feedback on what people are saying, then we should have a constructive and a very engaging way to report back to government that, look, we have been able to go to ABC place. this is what the people are saying, and we believe that they have some validity to their argument or to their points. And I think it is important that government take that into advisement. So, for example, me, I've always said it. I've told them that whenever I get a feedback, I have a constructive way. But I think me alone or somebody else alone, we have to do it collectively so that we'll be able to channel a two-way communication between government to the people and from the people to the government as much as we can using our offices. And then finally, you said if there's anything for APC members. I'm sure we can see whether we can do something, but it is we have to be careful. When you are given a responsibility for a country, you can't now say that you can do it for party members openly. That is absolutely not allowed by any law in Nigeria. But you and I know, so everybody knows his home. I cannot say that because the monies that are coming from the federal government is not an APC money. It is a federal government money budgeted by the National Assembly, made up of all political parties, and then if we get to be paid, we cannot say we are choosing certain party members to be able to give them a different treatment. But I believe that generally there are positions in government that can be used effectively for the purposes of party members. So I remember when I was a senior special assistant to the president on social investment, I made it a duty to inform state party chairmen that we have this program coming up. Tell our members to go and to go and apply. If they apply, let me know who has applied, and so that I'll be able to make sure that they get some sort of a substantial compliance of our party members are included in what the government is doing out there for this thing. So I'm not going to sit down here and actually tell you that there is anything in particular that they set aside for party members. But between you and I and through Ambassador, when we start doing things, I'm sure Ambassador will relate to you, and then you can relate to some of our members, and we'll be able to do one or two things. But I think it will be unwise for me to be in an open mic saying that I can use a government office for partisan reasons or for partisan people. But we will have our ways to be able to encourage and inculcate our people when the opportunity comes. And I'm sure I will communicate that to Ambassador, and Ambassador will communicate to you as well, so that we'll be able to do something in that regard. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's any question that I've left out.
It looks like you've covered pretty much everything. Thank you very much for that response as well. We've still got 18 minutes to spare now. So, and I think I've been informed that my co-host is back on again now. So, Honorable Tosin Olayinka, you have the floor now for to get more of the questions in.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ambassador. My apologies. I'm not in the UK at the moment, so that's why the network is somehow on and off. Okay, I think if I'm not using the video, it should be all right. Yeah, thank you very much. Moving forward to the questions sent over from the other platform. Sir, what has been the biggest achievement of the CNG initiative since its launch? That's question number one. The second one says, how many vehicles have been converted to CNG so far? And the third question says, how much money have Nigerians collectively saved on fuel since the initiative started? I'm not sure if I can still ask more, as we have close to 9 questions here because of our time. But I may ask the fourth one, which I think you will do justice to while answering them. How has the initiative affected transport costs for drivers and businesses? Thank you very much.
So thank you. I don't know, Ambassador, can I go ahead and ask
Yes,
some of this?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, please, I will just be calling your attention to remind me the questions one by one because I may not remember them all by one. So
All right, sir.
let's go through them one by one. The first question is, what
The
is the
first
biggest
one,
impact, right, of
yes,
CNG
sir.
till date?
Yes,
I
sir.
think the biggest, to me personally, the biggest impact of CNG is that a lot of people now know about it. It wasn't known before,
Okay.
and they know that there is an alternative. I think much more than anything else, that's the biggest impact. Number one. Number two, that it has an impact on a lot of public transportations, not everywhere and not everyone. But where we have started off very well, like in Abuja, especially, and Lagos, and so few other states, I think the impact is very visible. If you go to Abuja, you go to Federal Secretariat, you would have people rather wait for a CNG bus than join the regular bus because it takes them from Federal Secretariat to Yanya. It costs them about 800 naira per trip. Back and forth, that's 1,600 naira. If you times that by the 20 days that they go to work, they are already in excess of about 50,000 in a country with a minimum wage of 70,000, maybe 100,000. That is already more than 60% of their annual income, of their monthly income. But if they wait for the same CNG, which they pay about 350 naira, they go back and forth. It's already they go and about that 700 naira. They spend 60% less of what they spend. So if they are spending 42, 45,000 naira per month to go to work alone, on a regular bus, for CNG they will spend less than 20,000 to do that for the whole month. So if they're taking 70,000 naira, I'm giving you worst case scenario. I'm not saying that anybody in Federal Secretariat takes 70,000 naira. I'm telling you worst case scenario. A messenger who sweeps the floor in the Federal Secretariat, for example, is a government employee. Yeah, they are on contract, but usually those people take what, 70, 80, 100,000 naira at most. If you're basing it with minimum wage. If you put that together, they don't live inside town. They live in Yanya, they live in Lube, they live in Kuje, they live in Mararaba, they live in all kinds of places. That takes them about 1,000 naira to go, 1,000 naira back. That's 2,000 naira. So if you put that together, that's so you would see them waiting for CNG buses at the Federal Secretariat. Even it's going to make them wait for an hour more than they would by joining the regular bus. They would rather wait because of what they are saving. They are saving 60% of what they would have spent on that other bus. Now, that tells me something. It tells me that I need to get more buses as government to be able to put on that route so that they don't have to wait for an hour to be able to get it because of the number of people that are getting on that bus. To me, that is impact. Is it where I want it to be? No, but I want it to be a lot more than that. But it takes a lot of resources for government to put it into that place because to get one CNG 55-seater bus, 55 sitting, maybe 40 standing, about 90 people in one bus. You are talking about a minimum of 140, 150 million naira, 180 million if you want to get the big buses, really. 180 million if you bring it and you said you are going to put 200 per state, you need 200 times 36. Wow, you're already around where? About 600. If you put that together with 180 million at the base minimum, you're talking about 64 to 50 to 64 to about 90 billion naira. These are not resources that are readily available for government. So we do it based on high traffic corridors, and we push it and we encourage private sector players to say, look, we are going to make sure that we have these gas stations available. We are going to make sure that we have the virtual pipeline available. Buy the buses, lay it down, but make sure that it cascades to the people. So to me, the impact is massive. Between you and I don't know much about CNG before I was appointed executive chairman. And I remember when the president called me and he said, I want you, this is one of my ambitious projects, is this CNG and EV. I said, yes, sir. I said, I want you to head it. And I said, sir, but I don't know much about it. He said, well, I don't know. I've never been president either, but I'm doing the job, you know. And I said, yes, sir. He said, it's leadership. You have a commitment to this country. You are educated enough. You will learn, you will find your way, and you will deliver. Because what I need much more than anything else is your ability to manage stakeholders and have commitment to development and development of this country. Your patriotism is what I want. Once you are patriotic enough, you get a very competent technical team to be able to help you do it. And I've seen it 1 year later that, yes, Now I'm speaking to you like I'm one oil and gas expert. No, I don't know. Damn shit. I don't know jack about this thing last year by this time. So what I'm saying is this is the biggest impact is the knowledge that Nigerians know that they have an alternative, which in itself is freedom, and the ability for us to get it there and for us to be asked these questions on how to get it. And the interest is doubling by the minute. I see people coming to my office every day, trying to set up gas stations, set up other stations, set up LNG facilities, set up all kinds of stations that would have to do with gas as a result of processing it and compressing it to make sure that people feel the impact. That's on the one hand. The second part of that question, I think that I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, is
Okay, sir.
what is the data of how many cars have been converted so far.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, one of our biggest problems is that we don't have, we cannot beat our chest anywhere in government to say we have accurate data because there are so many moving parts. But based on our own records, the records that we have from inception today, we have about 100, upwards of 150 to close to 200,000 cars that have been converted. Now, that is not taking into cognizance cars or vehicles that have been brought in as CNG or that have been manufactured as CNG. Now we are talking about conversion. Cars that were now PMS before and have been converted. Do you understand? That's the difference. There's a difference because we have conversion centers, 358 of them across the country, and those conversion centers give us their numbers of the cars or the vehicles that they have converted. So it is based on that I'm telling you 150, but I'm not saying that these are the only cars or vehicles that are using CNG. There are tens of thousands of vehicles that are CNG based already. Which means they are factory manufactured as CNG. Either by some motors, jet motors, the Nord motors, Larishi2, you name it. They assemble it as CNG. So those ones are not counted as converted because those were not converted. Those were manufactured that way. So they are on CNG. Those ones are there. So that is the number that we have for now. But I'm working on a system where I'm going to get accurate data of all CNG-based vehicles and electric vehicles. Because I think a lot of people keep forgetting that we are both in charge of CNG and EV. We are basically in charge of alternative fuel vehicles in Nigeria. So both of them are under me. So that's number two. Number three, I think the question has to do with how much has been
How much
saved by
money?
Nigerians.
Yes, sir.
Like back to the data issue, it's difficult to call that data with some sort of accuracy. But if I can say, I can just extrapolate and say, okay, fine. If I have 200,000 cars based on CNG, in a CNG base, and let's say they averagely take is 1,001, let's say it's 1,000 naira per liter of fuel now, of PMS. And now they take what, 300, 500, let's say 300 to 500 naira, what of the same scum for what do you call it, for CNG. Then I can just extrapolate and say, let's, on an average, so let me take my own house, for example. I converted one of my small Toyota Corollas that take my children to school from PMS to diesel, to CNG.
Thank you.
I know that I used to pay 70,000 naira every week to fill my tank for PMS. With diesel, I now know that I buy 18,000 naira worth of CNG every week. So I have a reduction of 70,000 minus 18,000. That's a lot of money. That's 48,000 savings. So if I put that across 4 weeks, 48,000 times 4 weeks, that's a lot of money. If you put that in a month, so that's a lot. So if I'm going to extrapolate that, I'm not a good mathematician, but I would say if I have 150,000 cars who are now based on this and that, and I think the savings are well into billions, but I can make that calculation and send it to you just so that I don't make any mistakes. So these are the impact, and there is more, which is more importantly, is that now Nigerians, Nigerian government itself, another big impact is that Nigerian government does not have to worry itself about subsidy because it has created a homegrown alternative to subsidy. Not only are they saying that we don't have subsidy any longer, but we have a local refinery in Aliko Dangote, and now we have a CNG that is being manufactured and sold. Everything about CNG is done in Nigeria. There's nothing like we are taking the gas from Nigeria, we are refining it in Rotterdam or in Austin, Texas, or in Singapore. No, and then bring it back to come and sell it as come. No. We pull it out, we transmit it through the pipeline, it gets to a mother station, it gets compressed, it gets into a cascade, it gets into a daughter station, it gets dispensed. All local, 100%. So that also alone is an impact on the country, and it saves the country foreign exchange. So these are the questions I can remember. I don't know if there's anyone that I missed out.
There's one last one. I think you've mentioned it in your explanation, actually, which says, how has the initiative affected transport costs for drivers and businesses?
Well, I think for drivers, it is they are singing Kumbaya. The question is, have they? Yeah, they are singing Kumbaya. The ones who are using it are singing Kumbaya. Every CNG station you go to, there's a long line of people waiting to take. Why? Is because it is by far cheaper for them. So, but the question is, are they now cascading it to the last mile, to the person on the street? In most cases, they are not. They are just increasing their margins. So if you used to spend, a taxi driver told me that a cab driver in Abuja told me that he buys at least 20,000 naira worth of PMS every day. Now he uses the same amount of trips, the same kilometers he uses for 4,000 naira worth of CNG. So which means he makes an extra 16,000 naira every day. The question is that he does not transfer those savings to the people who are driving in his car. It's just that it has increased his margin. And therefore, he has more hours to sit on the line on a queue to take gas or to go home early. So it has made them richer, but it has not necessarily make the people who are taking their cabs or who are entering into those buses, except with the exception of the mass transit buses, of course. But those ride-hailing cabs, they are not charging any less. But why we cannot enforce it at this point is because we have not saturated the market enough with CNG for us to be able to enforce compliance. But once that happens, we'll enforce compliance, and then we'll make sure that competition drives down the cost much more often. But people, the drivers especially, are very, very happy with the situation. I can tell you that for free.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir, for providing succinct answers to all the questions being brought forward by our global participants. On a final note, I would like to yield the floor back to our global chairman in person of Ambassador J.K. Adebola. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Barrister Tosi Olayinka, for that session. It's like I said at the beginning of the program, our special guest has a presidential assignment that he has to attend to. So that's why he's decided to give us 1 hour of his time, and it's 6:57 now. So I'm just going to give him that 3 minutes for him to say his last remarks before he leaves. But then let's bear it in mind that we are still continuing, the program continues because we're still going to be discussing the issue around the CNG and stuff like that, and to get the opinions of Nigerians regarding that, so that we can then send our full report to our special guest after today. So you have the floor now, sir, just to give us your own your advice to Nigerians as to especially to the drivers who are pocketing 16,000 naira extra, sir. Maybe.
Well, there are different ways to look at it. First of all, that driver will know that forever you have changed his life, you have made him richer. It is no longer a minimum wage job, because if you put 16,000 naira a day times 30 days, You're looking at well over how many, well over about 4 million now. And in reality, how many government workers can even afford that, can get that, no matter how highly placed you are. I don't think I take that much home every month. But that's the reality of it. So on the final note is to say that CNG and electric vehicles are the future. For us in Nigeria, CNG is not a transition fuel. It's a destination fuel, because with 200 trillion cubic feet, we're not just going to allow other people's development to stifle us, or to railroad us into going into something that we're ready. I think we can take the two pari passu together and deliver. So many people in Nigeria may not be able to afford electric vehicles. They should be able to convert their cars and take CNG comfortably. So that is done. For the mass transit buses and the logistics, the big trucks, CNG is a better deal for them than electric vehicles for now. We simply do not have the wide net of grid to be able to take in that kind of power, for example. So CNG is still a destination for them. For the smaller cars, passenger cars, private cars, yeah, electric vehicles, why not? We are pushing that as much as we can. But more importantly, I want Nigerians to remember that this president could have done a lot of things to make it easy for himself, and but he chose a path that not only was it bold, but it is also sustainable in so many ways. It is forward thinking. And I want to leave this by telling you what he told me the day he was giving me this job. He said to me, I would be remembered as the president that removed fuel subsidy. I said, yes, sir. He said, but I also want to be remembered as the president that brought an alternative to that, a sustainable alternative, and that is CNG and that is electric vehicles. I said, yes, sir. He said, so you are basically in charge of one of my legacies. And to me, that was very profound.
Yeah.
When he said that, I knew the enormity of the job I have been given. And I knew immediately that this man means well, and he has his heart where the country is. Now, a lot of things might not go as planned. And then government is a constant battle with different challenges. But this is a president whose heart is in the right place, who is willing to make sure that if it is meant to be, then it is up to me. That is his statement. If it is meant to be, then it is up to me. If there is something to be done to correct, the anomaly of this country, then I will take the bull by the horn and I will do it. And I think he needs our support, for those of us who are working with him, for those of us who are supporters of his party. It may not be rosy all the time. We are not happy all the time. People feel left out in APC. They don't have, they've been neglected. It is true. APC has that problem. Let's not run away from it. But this president needs our support as much as we can, so that we'll be able to deliver a country that we'll all be proud of at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so very much for that last remark, sir. It's like I said, we're so grateful that you are despite the last minute presidential assignment, you still said since you've given us your word, you will be here at least to give us your 1 hour, and you have done that even more, because it's been 3 minutes past 5 now. So thank you so very much, and we appreciate you being here. And hopefully we might come knocking on your door again at some point, because I'm sure a lot of people will still want you to come back, maybe to give us your full 2 hours. So when that time comes, I will definitely come knocking on your door again. So thank you so very much, and we wish you all the best, especially your family. for allowing you to stay with us for the for the last 1 hour. So my regards to
No problem.
Madam. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it, Ambassador. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Tosin. Well done.
And to all Nigerians and our participants from across the world, like I said earlier on, our special guest couldn't stay the whole 2 hours because he had a last minute presidential assignment. I think we are used to that now. As I remember the first time we started this weekly program in 2024 with one of the spokesmen for the president. Same thing happened. In fact, that one happened right in the middle of the conference. The man just had a phone call from the president that the president wanted him somewhere, and he now said he apologized and he said he will come back the following day. So he gave us 2 days, a day and a half of a conference, which was good. So these things do happen sometimes. So please, I want everybody to bear it in mind. Please, I'm apologizing on behalf of the president and on behalf of special guests now, because when state matters come, it takes precedence over every other thing. So that's the reason why our special guest couldn't stay the 2 hours. But then the 1 hour he stayed with us, I'm blessed, and I believe everybody else is blessed. But then it's like I said, we'll continue to discuss this issue. So my co-host will still continue because we've got a couple of hands up now. Whatever questions you have now, we will document everything and send it to him. And whatever feedback that he gives to us, then we will send it to you guys. But like I said, the show has to go on. So we still got about 55 more minutes to the end of this program. So let's make it count. Thank you so very much. So Honorable Barrister Tosin Olayinka, you still have the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, once again. I've got 2 hands being raised here at the moment. The first one is Samsung SM, while the second one is Honorable Fako. Samsung SM, you have the floor now. Please, you have just 2 minutes for the benefit of other people. I'm seeing more hands being raised now. I can see Engineer Dan, and I can see Mr. Larry Jinad. So after I call Samsung SM, I want Honorable Fako to get ready. And after that, Engineer Dan. And after that, Mr. Larry Junad. Samsung FM, you have the floor now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. My name is Apola Busari. I'm from Saki State Local Government, New York State, living in Texas, Florida.
Oh, good to have you here.
My question, and it's not a question, it's an advice, but it's in form of a question. In each government or in each organization or in each project, the continuity matters most. President Tinubu can never do more than 8 years. What will be the continuity of this kind of project? Because what is killing Nigeria is not about bad government, it's about the continuity. If every state can be like Lagos State, that would be fine. But like where I came from, Oyo State, nothing like that. We know that. We know more than I do because I didn't live in Nigeria. I always come to Nigeria for vacation. But the major problem we are counter, even the security issue, there's no continuity. How we going to manage this project by giving more innovation and upgrading to this project? That's my advice and my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Like our global chairman mentioned earlier, we're going to put that forward and we'll get back to you in regards to the response. Moving on to Honorable Fako. Honorable Fako, you have the floor now, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you are live, sir.
Oh, okay, Ambassador Debola and Barrister Tosin, I want to say thank you very much. And I want to say I'm very proud of you. Even though you are doing a job that you are not being paid for, I just want to pray that God Almighty would remember you and put a smile on your face. Now, we have a lot of our members from my platform who are raising up their hand. They wanted to contribute. His time is just 5 o'clock. Let's allow as many as possible to to talk and ask questions. And then that's all I wanted to say. And I want to thank Barrister Ismaeel to answer my question. What I was trying to say, yes, I was trying to say to him, he's on TV, he's showing, but Tosin, you agree with me, when it was PMB time, when he was youth leader, he was all over the place. He came to UK thrice, including the House of Lords. So why suddenly, until he got the appointment, he was just quiet. But thank God, he's starting up again. We want many of them. And as a result of, you could see, I've been drumming, saying there's a need for us to make noise. We have net fund, we have CNG, infrastructure, health, economy. Foreigners are coming to invest in Nigeria. Yet we are not making noise. All these guys in appointment, they are just quiet. Arise News yesterday was commending Minister for Works that is proactive. Mr. Wike, fantastic job. I was in Abuja during June 12th celebration. I was moved. Tosin, I know you are in Abuja. Abuja is like London. I was so proud. So please, all these guys in appointment, even we should tackle the Minister for Youth. He's a young guy. He's not even speaking up. Let all these guys who have appointment come up and say what their minister has done. And in fact, I'm going to do a memo to Honorable Gwadamia Miller. Most of these guys should never even make second term after we win, because I could not even feel their impact. Thank you, sir.
Looks like my co-host has been thrown out again. Don't know what the heck is going on with this network. So moving on swiftly now, we'll go. Honorable Fako, thank you so very much for your. I know you are a very fiery supporter of this government, and I think it shows in your contribution all the time. And it's like you said, if you can put something through to the chief of staff, I think that would be nice, because sometimes these people, what I don't really like, which most people know, is for people like you and me who are progressives to come on online now and be lambasting the government. We all know, there are issues here and there, but like you said, you're going to send a note, because for me that's the way to do it. And I've told so many people, we cannot be giving the opposition the cane to whip up with. We know we have problems. Yeah, we do. Yeah, but then there are avenues where we can air our grievances. So thank you so very much for taking that stand. I really like you for being frank and knowing what to do at the right time. Thank you so very much. God bless you, sir. So let me go quickly to Engineer Dan Agbada now. Engineer Dan Agbada, you have the floor now. Thank you. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, my global chairman. It's just a positive implementation aspect of it I want to talk about, because I saw a memo from Delta State government approving 50 CNG buses for Delta State. So, and our guest did how to extend it to the grassroots. So I think that was a good thing the government has done by approving 50 CNG buses for the civil servants and some transit companies to use within Delta and beyond. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that contribution.
Did you hear me,
this
sir?
is what this. Yes, yeah. Are you done now, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm done.
Hello?
I'm done, sir. I'm done.
Okay. Oh, thank you so very much for that. Okay, thank you so very much for that short contribution, which is very profound. I think it will be taken on board. So thank you so very much for that. I'll move swiftly next to the next person now, who is Nwankwo Chidinma. Nwankwo Chidinma, you have the floor now. You can unmute yourself, and you have 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. My question is, what measure has CNG put in place to ensure that vulnerable groups such as pregnant women, the elderly, and persons with disabilities also benefit from this initiative? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I think that's a very, very valid question you just posed there. It's a shame he's not here now to answer it directly, but be rest assured that we'll pass it on to him. And if you can just leave your email address on the chat room, once we get a response back from him, then we'll forward that to you. I think there's an argument that should be made for whatever initiative that's been done by the government, which is meant to benefit the populace, that the vulnerable, like she said, must be factored into it, and not just factored. I think there has to be some kind of measures that will ensure. I mean, if we can have federal character in so many things in Nigeria, I don't see why we cannot have similar policy that will take care of the vulnerables within the society. Because as far as we know, those of especially, okay, I'll use the physically challenged now as an example. For somebody who is not physically challenged, you can always hustle and do whatever you want. But for someone who is physically challenged, it will take double the effort for them to be able to benefit from anything. So that is the reason why such people there has to be a special arrangement to ensure that such people benefit in whatever it is that the government is doing. So it's a very valid question you just threw now. So we'll send it forth, and whatever feedback we get from that, we'll let you have it. I'm not sure if my co-host is back on now. The devil is a liar. I'm sure he's going to be back at some point. Thank you so very much, everybody. The next person now is Larry Jinat. Larry Jinat, please unmute yourself, and you have the floor for another 2 minutes.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. I always appreciate the quality of guests that you always bring on board for this Zoom meeting. Straight to the point. The CNG program, I think the infrastructure needs to be stepped up, because it's not always a good sight to see in a background where I am, where I come from, where you see most of these keke on a long queue. This is making it look like the era of petrol long queue that we used to have. I think the government needs to step up the expansion of the infrastructure, like our guest did earlier explain, but he didn't break down the level of the rate of development as per increase in the infrastructure for gas stations. Then number two, access to the subsidized kits, conversion kits. I don't know how easy that is, because it's like some of my friends have had to convert their own car to gas, and they did it privately, and they were talking about almost over ₦1 million. So I was like, but government is doing the conversion and it's subsidized. So how easy, how accessible is this conversion being done by the government? Thank you.
Thank you so very much. When you talk about a long queue, does it mean a long queue whilst they're trying to refuel or something? Hello? Okay. Because I would imagine that what the last caller was talking about was the Kekena Pep guys in a long queue trying to refuel. I think that's another issue that we will put to the executive chairman. If that is happening, then that means there's still a lot of work to be done. I think he himself said it, that they are still the initiative is still expanding. Because don't forget, it is something that was started about 3 years ago. It's a gradual thing that will, in time, will catch on. Because it is not easy to to start that kind of initiative and giving the large expanse of land that we got in Nigeria and the volume of people that we have in the country, it's going to take a while for that to go around. So I think, that question is very valid, and I think we'll put it to our special guest so that if whatever expansion that they have in mind, perhaps maybe if they can accelerate it a little bit, so that because the earlier this program goes around the whole country, the better for. I think somebody put a question to him earlier to say when he was talking about whether the savings that the drivers are making, whether they pass it on, and he confessed that he doesn't think that is the case. But then he now added that what he intends to do is to ensure that they expand the provision of these facilities and stuff like that. Because when you saturate the market, it's in most cases it's all about supply and demand. If you have surplus supply, of course the price that people pay will dip, and even the drivers themselves will be forced now to begin to if not all, at least a certain percentage of whatever profit they are making, to make sure that they are allowed to trickle down to their passengers, because then there'll be more options for passengers. There'll be more options for passengers than options for the drivers. So I think that area is that is where, and I'm glad he said it, that he has this in his plans for him, to do that. So I'm sure when that is done, definitely Nigerians, an average Nigerian will feel the impact of this CNG thing we're talking about. It's still early days yet. I guess maybe that is why it's still a bit, topsy-turvy. But by the time the whole thing expands and they have more refueling stations, they have more conversion centers and stuff like that, and many more people are able to get onto it. That it's like I said, it's the law of demand and supply will come in. So whether the drivers like it or not, they'll be forced to share the profit they are making with the commuters. So thank you so very much for that again. Let me move on swiftly now to Somina Green. Somina Green, you have the floor now. Please unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes. Somina Green. Somina Green, please unmute yourself. Somina Green, are you still here with us? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay then.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, I'm Somina Green from Rivers State.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I am the Renew Hope Youth Alliance State Coordinator.
Okay, thank you so
from
much.
Bonny Island.
And thank you for your support.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Happy to join this family. It's a great one. It's a nice family, but I also like the leadership of Renew Hope Global International to look into Rivers State based on the political issues, because we are not getting dividends of what Mr. President is really doing in Rivers State. We are lag behind. This CNG of 18 now, I'm now getting the point which I can go down to the grassroots and let people know what the Mr. President is doing about it.
Okay.
But how do we get it in Rivers State? Because of what is happening in Rivers politics in regards to the governor and the minister of FCT. So we are not getting really the dividends of what Mr. President is doing. So I'm begging this family that the Rivers youth will stand strongly for Mr. President, for all his program, but let's also have the dividends of what is going on, so that we too can also stand and answer some questions for Mr. President when it comes to, campaigning or telling people what is going on, what the president is doing. We need to see the dividends in Rivers State, please. This family should help us in Rivers State. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that. What I will advise you to do is this. Yes, we are here to bridge the gap between Nigerians and our leaders. But then what you just said now is a very, very valid issue for me. But for us to be able to help, I will need to see something in writing. Yeah, we have our email address where you can, because when you're talking of dividend of democracy, it's a very wide area, and I want you to go into some. I would like you to go into some specifics that is related to you in Rivers State. Put that into writing. Just address it to me, Barrister J.K. Adebola, and put it in the email address is in the chat room. If not, check the Saturday message that I sent out this morning. The email address is in there. Put something on paper to the effect that you are the one who spoke to me at this conference. So as soon as I get that, yes, of course, we will pass it on, because this is what we are here for, to ensure that our people have a platform for them to be able to air their grievances to the to the leaders. And I can assure you, at this time we have a set of receptive leaders who, every time they get anything like this, they always try to find a way to ensure that they respond. So please put something on paper and send it to just for the attention of Ambassador J.K. Adebola, and put it on that email. I will get it, and I can guarantee you I'll pass it on. And whatever response I will get from there, I will definitely. Now, this issue you're talking about may not necessarily be for this our special guest, but we know who and who to pass it on to, depending on the contents of your correspondence. That will determine whom we will send this to. Just be rest assured that will be passed on, because as far as we're concerned, we don't want any progressive who has been supporting this government. We don't want them to be left out. You heard it. We are doing what we are doing, but we'll continue to do it. Because you just never know what is around the corner. Thank you so very much, and God bless.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
Okay, sir. So let me go to Ajibola's Z Fold 5. Ajibola's Z Fold 5, you have the floor now. Please unmute yourself. Ajibola's. Hello? Hello? Ajibola's Z Fold 5, you have the floor now. I've asked you to unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I would firstly like to say a big kudos to you for the amazing and fantastic job you guys are doing. So straight to my question.
Where are you calling from?
Where
are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm really impressed with what the chairman said earlier about Nigeria and more of our CNG, a gas country rather than the
petrol one.
Petrol,
shocks
yes.
Me too. I never knew that, honestly. Shocks me too.
Honestly, I never knew, and I'm really impressed with that. But my question is this. We all understand and know the fleet of our presidents and the governors, and talk about the executives in government in Nigeria, the fleet of cars they run. Can he tell us what percentage in the president's fleet are run on CNG? Because leadership is really important in transformation.
What is the percentage of what, sir? I didn't get the question.
Percentage of the vehicles, that's being run on CNG by the presidency. Because we know they have a very long fleet of cars.
All right. Okay. I see what you mean.
For their security. But what's the percentage of the cars that they run that runs on CNG, not on petrol or diesel or whatever?
Within the presidency. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a valid question. Yeah. We'll put it to them, and I think even if they've not been doing it, then I think this will be a wake-up call for them now to say to let them know that Nigerians expect the presidency to practice what it preaches, so to speak. You know, I'm not saying they're not doing it. I'm just trying to bring some kind of light joke to it, that people expect that the presidency must be seen to be to be practicing what it preaches. So yeah, thank you so very much. We'll put that question to them, and if there's any response, we'll let you know. Thank you so very much, and God bless you. Now we have I'm not sure how to pronounce this one now. Okay, before I go, please let me say this, because we've been saying it many times, that we always like people to join our conference with their name, because the moment you want to join, the system will ask you what your name. So please put your name. It is when you don't put your name that it comes up with either your telephone brand name or something like that. Because we like to know whom we're talking to, So please, we'll make we'll allow people without their names to come, because normally I personally don't like to give people who we don't know who they are the floor to speak. But for today, we'll relax the rule, and we'll call you. But please, next time when you come in, please join with your name. Thank you so very much. So I've got this Xiaomi 2201117. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Xiaomi. Perhaps. Yeah. Okay. So you can unmute now, sir. Hello. Are you still with us? Hello. Hello, Xiaomi 2201117. Are you still there? Okay, let's move on, because we have just 30 minutes now left to go. Technopova 2, please unmute. You have the floor now for 2 minutes. Technopova 2. Technopova 2. Are you still there?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, you have the floor now. 2 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Ibrahim Musiolubengi. I'm calling from the local government here in Lagos State.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. My contribution, or let me say a question, is it not possible for the federal government to incorporate all the state governments in converting the state buses into CNG? I think through that will help people know more about CNG. And also, there are more of the local governments that are not accessible to these facilities. Because I have a friend who is also running on CNG, but he do complain he will have to travel from here down to Ajah side, Lekki side, before he can fuel gas. So I don't know how possible people that are outside the city that can have the facilities closer to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think you asked two very valid questions now. Let me start with the last one. I think it's like I said earlier on, because it's still a new initiative, just 3 years in existence. It will expand. I think our special guest too said it earlier on, that that is still work in progress. So I'm just going to advise that you just continue to bear with the government. As time goes on, they will extend the stations where you can get these things across the country. That will happen, but it's just that it's because the initiative is capital intensive, from what he said. So that is why they are doing it in spades. So, but sooner or later it will get to everyone. But on the other issue, that the first question you raised, which is about how state governments can key into it, I think one of the caller spoke earlier, saying he has some friends who are doing it privately. So what that tells me is that if people can do it privately, I don't see why governors will need extra permission from the federal government for them to key into it. Because as far as I'm concerned, it is an open space thing where any governor worth his salt should be able to key into this. if without necessarily, I don't think any governor will need a license or any express permission from the president for them to be able to do something like this. It's an initiative of the federal government, and I'm sure the president himself will be very happy if for any state governor who wants to go into it. Perhaps if anybody knows any of you have any contact with your governor, I think those are the kind of issues that we can be pushing with our governors to say, you know what, why don't you key into this, and because you see, for me, it's another way that the governors themselves can raise internal revenue if they really want to do it. So we are the ones that can push that. I mean we individuals in our various states can push that to our government. You can form a coalition somewhere, a group or something, and maybe stage, I don't know, maybe a visit, a solidarity visit to the governor and say, look, this is our proposal. Can you please key into this program so that our people in the state can benefit from it? That way, it will help the federal government in expanding this initiative so that what you are complaining about now will be resolved in no time, because if we leave it to the federal government alone, it's going to take time. But if all states are jumping into it and getting all the facilities ready for their people, I think it will go wide more and more faster than if we leave it to the federal government alone. Thank you so very much for those two valid points. It's very well noted. Next is Roland Obotobo. Roland Obotobo, you have the floor now. Please unmute yourself. Roland, you have the floor now. Roland, please unmute yourself so that you can have the floor now. I've given you permission to unmute now, so all you need to do is to click on the mute button or mute button at the top so that you can speak. Okay. Let me just move on. We'll come back to Roland later on. Omowanuola, you have the floor now. I can't see the second part of your name, but I can see Omowanuola. You have the floor.
Good afternoon.
Okay, afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. First of all, I want to say good afternoon to all the distinguished chairman here, and all the special guest, Barrister Ismaeel Ahmed, and all the respected dignitaries.
So where are you calling from, ma'am?
I'm from London.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. First, I want to commend the organizer for creating this important platform that gives us the land to connect with diaspora people, with all the policymakers, and discuss all these issues directly with our nation. And I have a question, sir. My question is, the PCNGi has made significant progress in expanding CNG infrastructure, training, and all that of technicians. But as the program enters its next phase, I want to know what specific measures are being put in place to ensure that the rural community, the small transport operators, and all the young entrepreneurs that can access affordable financing, technical support, or and any reliable refueling infrastructure, so that the benefit of this initiative are felt across all part of Nigeria. What are we planning to do? Because I like to see a long-term service rather than having a short benefits, if I can use that word. And I also want to, however, I want to commend the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for doing the greatest work. I've already said it. I think it's the man for the job, no one else. And I'm happy that we are all here supporting and rooting for him. So I'll leave it at that, sir.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. Your question is very, very germane, and trust me, we will pass it on, because whether we like it or not, it's an initiative that I think deserves commendation from every one of us, and it can only get better from here. That's what I can just assure every Nigerian, because again, this is a job opportunity for especially those who don't have jobs now, because as far as I can see, this if properly harnessed, I think this can create millions of jobs for for our people, and it can only be a good thing, for the country in the long run. Thank you so very much, ma'am. We'll pass your question on. Thank you so very much. Okay, I've got Alhaji Adams Dawda now. Alhaji Dawda Adams, you have the floor.
Okay. Good evening, our chairman.
Yeah, good
Thank
evening,
you
sir.
for giving me this opportunity. I think the special guest, the special guest mentioned a lot of benefit that these CNG will bring to us. I think it's in the early, infants,
Yeah.
it's going to then move to the, the curve, whereby it's more used than the PMS. But he mentioned something which is very, very important about the Iran. Yeah. When you look about the energy security policy of the government, yeah, this CNG will strengthen the national, the national energy resilience against the global oil price fluctuations. Because we know when there's a price move on the oil, everybody, transportations, even markets, traders, they started putting the price up. But if this is successful, as they use in Iran to bypass the the restriction they have on them, then this would be a good thing, for Nigeria to do. It will always, help within our, natural gas, which you and I don't know that we have even more gas than the petroleum.
Yeah.
And the processing, I think the processing of the CNG as well is cheaper. It's cheaper than the having the a conversion of the crude oil. Yeah. So, and it will not be depending on importation of oil. Even though we have a refinery now in Dangote, we still have some coming in. Importation of refined oil coming in. But if people move to the CNG, and it's very, very widely used, as many people have said today, I think the state government and the local government as well should be the share leaders on these, adopting these within their secretariat. Yeah. So that then will convince the Nigerians that if government is using it, I will use it too, because it will shorten the budget.
Yeah.
So it's very, cheap, effective, and surplus, and it will create a job, as you said. So thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for that take on it as well. I remember just talking about Dangote that you mentioned now. I remember the special guest said something very poignant. He said even Dangote himself has already bought 40,000 CNG vehicle now.
Yeah, for trucking.
And he says, he's planning to buy another 50,000. So for somebody who has a refinery to be doubling into it, then that means the man sees something that most state governors are refusing to see, even now as we speak. So for me, I don't know. Because something like this is something that I think every state governor should have by now jump onto, even if it's just to make life easy for their citizens. I think this is something worth jumping on. And but like I said earlier on, some of us are citizens in those states. We can form ourselves into some kind of cooperative, whatever it is, group, and go to the governor with a prepared a proposal to say, look, this thing, the federal government is doing it at a slow pace. What about if you jump on it for us, at least for the benefit of our state citizens, so that all the portals, all the conversion centers and everything can be done within the state. So that way we'll be helping the federal government in expanding this team so that everybody will benefit within the shortest possible shortest possible time. So I think it's worth doing if we can just do that in our various states to make sure that we force our governors into even if it's just a local government chairman. They have money now, unlike before, so they can go into it and at least that should be some kind of campaign strategy for some of them. If they really want to come back as the chairman, if I'm a chairman of a local government, this is something I want to go into, even if it's just on a small scale, so that I go take and make me shine at the next election to say, you know what, now me do this one. Oh. So if you want more, vote for me so that when I come back, we'll be able to do more. So these are opportunities that I think every state governor, every local government chairman should be able to jump on and make some political gain from it. So thank you so very much, Aladi Adams, for that. We've got 2 more people now. We've got 60 minutes to go. I'm sure those 60 minutes will be able to utilize it judiciously. I've got ITEL A70. ITEL A70, please unmute yourself now. You have the floor. ITEL A70. ITEL A70, are you still there? Uh-oh. It looks like it's gone. Okay, let me go to Dosumu Ibukun. Dosumu Ibukun, you can unmute yourself now. You have the floor. Dosumu Ibukun.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Dosumu Ibukun, like you said, from Lagos State.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're most welcome, sir. I really want to appreciate the organization of this Zoom meeting, the conference. Straight to the question, or probably a comment. The chairman of the initiative said one of the best things that has happened was creating awareness about the CNG project. I think that if they can go an extra mile to schools, universities, because the youth are influencers, they are youth social influencers, so that the CNG buses can be distributed to schools through maybe the national NANS, for example, can champion this, give buses to youths in their campuses, let them see the initiative going on. That could be another social influencing initiative for the CNG project. I'm just suggesting this. I think that could go a long way too, because right now they've said they've gone through the NURWT, the labor unions. I think they should go to the schools, universities. The youth should feel the impact as well. Let them give buses. If there are 2 buses, 3 buses to each schools, or 1, I think it's 1 for a start, and label it CNG buses powered by Ashura Jubala Ahmed Tinubu initiative, or whatever initiative you want to put it. I think it will go a long way. They are influencers, youth and social influencers, and this project can go a long way, and they could see what the government is doing. Thank you so very much for the opportunity.
I like this angle that you just brought in again now, because that's going straight to the downtrodden of the society now, making sure that they benefit directly from what's going on. Yes, that too will be taken up forwarded to them, because for me, if I don't know how the federal government can do, but I'm sure it's something that is doable if they can. I don't know, maybe make a special budget for it. They can even give the buses to schools. And it's like we said, put on it, donated by the presidency or donated by whatever it is, for the benefits of the people. Again, another game changer, if you ask me. So I just hope that our leaders will be able to jump on some of this, because this is why I love this program. Because you see, and one thing I don't know if you guys have noticed, a couple of times whether maybe our special guests did not turn up, or they turn up and they leave on time, the moment we leave the floor free to people, a lot of ideas keeps coming in. That is just my observation. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just thought I should put it out there, so that when next we have something like this, I'm sure we'll have more, because a lot of ideas were just coming up now that probably wouldn't have come up if our special guest had maybe he's leaving on early. It's a blessing in disguise for us. Thank you so very much, guys, because it shows that You know, it's true what they say that Nigeria know they carry last, and it's showing. Thank you so much. We've got 2 more hands up now.
It's a free flow conversation.
Yes, yeah, free flow, man. I love it. Okay, yeah. Roland Ogbotobo has come back again. So please unmute yourself, Roland, and Isaac Udotong. Please be on the on standby. Roland Ogbotobo, you need to unmute yourself. At the top of your name, there's in a way you have those 3 dots. Next to it, you'll see unmute button. Please click on that so that I can have the floor now. Okay, yeah, you have the floor now. Rob, what are you still? Are you still
Hello,
there?
sir.
Yes. Okay, yeah, you have the floor now.
Hello, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, loud and clear.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
I want to really thank you and appreciate you for your resilience so far for all the years. You have led this cause so far. And we want to say a big thank you to you. First of all, before I go on with my question, I would like to introduce myself.
Okay.
Before the house. I am Roland Mosbo, the leader of the Renewable Alliance, South, South, and Southeast, Southwest, under the leadership of my boss, Joseph Adebora.
Thank you very much for that.
Now, we used to hear about the PCNGi for long now. I think it is early some plans will be set up at various geopolitical zones. I don't know if
I think his network is playing up. Roland Obotowo, are you still there, sir? Oh God. Okay, if you can come back later on, let me move on to Isaac Udotong. Isaac Udotong, please unmute yourself, sir, and speak to us.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
sir.
I'm an engineer. My name is Engineer Isaac Udotong.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I'm speaking from New Jersey, United States. So I must say that I'm highly impressed with the CNG seminar and the explanation of what impact that the president has made in this sector. I would say that it is unprecedented, clearly unprecedented, because with a nation of over 200 trillion of natural gas, that is not a joke, and it's not. It is one of the things that people really have to commend the president. Among one of the key things that he has done, his CNG is really a game changer, because the energy issue all over the world, even here in the United States, how you are able to tap into what you have, your natural resources, whatever it is, to be able to produce energy for your people. In fact, the amount of energy that your people use is directly proportional to the development of your people. Yeah. And in this case, we're talking about 200 trillion gas that had not been used. Nobody has done something. In fact, this gas was being flared, if at pace. But now, from flaring, we're getting it, compressed to be used in the very most important aspect of our national life, transportation. Transportation, day and night, people are traveling. And when people cry on difficulties, it's always, how do we move from point A to point B. How do we even take the food item, grown in the local villages? It's too expensive to move it to the cities.
Yeah.
So, but this CNG is a game changer. For instance, in my home state of Akwa Ibom State, I just saw it during the week that the governor has received over 200 CNG buses now are made available to the people to be conveying people from one end, and all that would not have happened. Why is it happening now? The gas has always been there. It's not that we suddenly discovered that we have gas. We've always known. Even as a child, I was seeing gas being burnt. In Bori, in Port Harcourt, I used to see it from my village to see those gas being fled. But why is it just happening now? It's just because of the policy of the administration. The gas has always been there, but there was no clear-cut policy to utilize this gas, especially in the most important aspect of our national life, which is transportation. And this has been accomplished by this government. And we have to be thankful for that. We have to appreciate that and push for an expansion that it will, like it was mentioned, that the ordinary people is not feeling it because the transporters are busy increasing their own profit, bottom line. But eventually, it's just a matter of time. People will get to know. They will get to feel it themselves. They will get to feel their car, convert their cars, and begin to use it and begin to reap the benefit of the cost saving. It is completely the one that has been shown as an example here, saving up to 60%, 50% of your expenses on what you used to spend on PMS is unprecedented. Is really unprecedented, and we have to be very, very thankful, and then look for a way where this will be expended. I think maybe in the next couple of years, everybody would see the impact on the bottom line, on the costs, and in reducing the cost of the transportation. So I thank you so much, and I want to appreciate you. That's why I traveled all the way to London from the United States to be there to receive the president when he was on a state visit to the UK and participated on the program with Buckingham Palace and at Windsor Castle. So thank you so much once again, Engineer Isaac, Dr. speaking.
Oh, thank you for that. I think when you were talking now, you took me down memory lane, because I remembered in January 2022, I believe, when the president came here. You remember that was a trip he made where there was a lot of hoopla in Nigeria that he went for medical, blah, 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 blah. What happened was he came here to meet with some stakeholders, and I was just opportune to be one of those stakeholders that met with him. And we spoke with him for more than 4 hours, nonstop. And this issue of gas flaring was one of the things he spoke about on that day. Which was one of the reasons why, because that was I liked the guy before. I liked him before because of his antecedent in Lagos. But that was the day I actually fell in love with this president, because he spoke eloquently that was why when this what's it called, obedience were talking about in hand, the shake and all that thing, it just didn't bother me, because we sat with him close for 4 hours, and we saw a different person. And that was the day I knew that this was the man that would take Nigeria right to our El Dorado. This gas flaring thing was one of the things he spoke to us about. And he said to us on that day that he wants to see Nigeria competing with Russia, because I live in the UK and I know that all the gas in the Europe here is being supplied by Russia. And that was the day he told us that. He said he wants Nigeria to be competing with Russia with this gas thing, that we just allow it to be flaring, that we can capture it. And he even told us he was gonna do a tunnel from here to Morocco, so that he can use that to get into Europe. And guess what? The man is doing it now, quietly. He told us this about 3 years ago. The day he was talking to us, the way he was talking to us on that day, we all of us that were there, we knew this guy meant everything he's talking about. And that was why, as soon as he came in, he started on the very first day. He started, to do all the things that he told us that he was going to do. The issue of the oil subsidy, that was first subsidy. That was the day he told us about it. That if it wasn't removed, that he would remove it straight away. So that was why when I was at the Eagle School and the day he was being sworn in, as soon as he announced that, I knew, yeah, this is what he said. And guess what? On his last state visit to the UK here, one of his spokespersons, I think it's Bayo Onanuga, said it there that first subsidy statement was not part of the statement that they give to him. He said he wrote the statement that was not part of it. That the man just spoke off the cuff. And as soon as Bayo Onanuga said that, I remember what he told us in 2022. So that tells me that this is a man who knows how. I mean, he knows the problem of Nigeria and he knows the solution, and he's got the balls, to go after that solution, not caring whose ox is got. So for that, I give him kudos for that. So that's one of the reasons why people like me will continue to support him, regardless of what other people are saying, because I see him as a person who can take this country to the next level. Thank you so very much. It looks like Roland Ogotobo has come back now. This time around, you have only 1 minute because we have just 1 minute to go now. Roland Ogotobo, you have the floor now. Please unmute yourself. You have the floor now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very quickly, sir. I would want to say that if the CNG tricycle and whatever will be distributed, I want to advise that let it be distributed directly to youths. Let them get to the youth directly, because for some time ago, I heard the tricycle, some number of CNG tricycle will be distributed by the government. Up to date, we have not seen it. We have not seen any sign that anybody benefited. Anybody was giving to anybody was giving. So it was diverted. So if the government will take it serious, it will be a good one for we such thing from the government, because it will go a long way for us in terms of the hardship on the transportation system. So I think the government should do very well to see that those gets to not to people that will at the end of the divert the whole thing. That is my point. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so very much. I know why you're saying what you're saying, because you are the leader of the Renewed Hope Youth Alliance in South and South. That's why you're saying that. But I'll give you a free advice now. You can send me a check later on, but I'll give you that free advice now. Get your members who are interested in this thing, to sit down, draft a proposal, okay, regarding what you just said now. That you want the government to have you guys in mind, but then you see, it's not everybody that can, unless you are actually interested in running it as a business, because it's not something that will be given to you and you'll be running around the town with. It is purely a business thing. So that's what I'm talking about. You gathering those of your members who are interested in it together. Get a proposal. If you can get a professional to help you do the proposal, send it to us. Trust me, we will place it on the table of the executive chairman who came here today. They say, look, these are our people, because a couple of people have spoken about the party or the government not incentivizing our people. That would be our own way of saying, look, these guys, this is what they want. Can we please do it for them? So get a professional to write a proposal for you guys, and get all your members to sign it, so that the man will know that this proposal has this much people behind it, right? So just send it to us. You have our email address on on the message I sent this morning, and it's going to be in the report I'm going to be putting up tomorrow. The email address is there. Bring the proposal in. We'll help you put it on the table of the executive chairman, and I'm sure something will be done about that. So these are one of the benefits that you get for coming on the program like this, so that you come here, you air your views, then we point you in the right direction where to go, so that at the end of the day, because nothing will gladden our hearts, the team behind this program, than to see, because since we started now, I think about 4 or 5 people have gotten appointment from this program. They came with a proposal that deals with the special guest, and they were invited to Abuja to come and do to come and pitch their proposals. And upon pitching, in fact, there was a lady who got 2 appointments. I'm not kidding. She got 2 appointments from just appearing on this program. So this is why I always encourage people that don't just come to this program willy-nilly. Come with some kind of proposal that you think will help yourself and the government. If it is something that fits into their ideas, into their aims and objectives, of course, because you have a listening government, they will always grant you the ideas, and not only that, they will invite you to Abuja to say, okay, this proposal, come and pitch it to us. And if you do a very good job, you might get something from it. So thank you so very much for that, to Roland Ogotobo. Thank you so much. And so on this note, that we will be drawing the curtain here today, because it's been it's now 5 minutes past 6, so we are 5 minutes out of time. So, and first of all, I have to thank everybody for coming on this program, because I know it's not easy for you to be coming every week and spend 2 hours with us, but then it shows that every one of you have passion for this country. Every one of you want this country to move forward. And I think that is what we are all about, because as far as I'm concerned, I always say that I want Nigeria to be better in my own lifetime. I don't want to be there before that you're about to say, Ishujino. When the yam go down, I want you to be when me a day. So I say I go chop out of it. Not be when I'm gone. So that's why I keep doing what I'm doing now. And I pray that every single one of us will witness a new Nigeria when it becomes a reality, because we're heading towards that now. Within the 3 years that this government has been in now, we've seen, a steady progress being made, even though some of those progresses brought with it some hardship. But now that hardship is now lessening, and we're now beginning to see the green lights that the president told us, that he said there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel, and we're beginning to see it now. So trust me, in no time, just make sure that 2027 is a done deal for this government. If that is done, trust me, by the end of 2031, every single one of us will be laughing. So I won't go without, first of all, acknowledging the presence of some stakeholders and some of our leaders. Honorable Fako, thank you so very much for being here. Alhaja Aula Sule from Switzerland, thank you so very much for being part of it. Engineer Dan Agbada, I think that's from Delta in Nigeria. Thank you so very much too for being part of this. Gideon Balogun from, I believe it's from Lagos. Thank you so very much, sir. Engineer Isaac Udotom from USA. Thank you so very much, sir. I always like your contribution every time. Ambassador Lady Marlin, she's from the UK here. Thank you so very much for being part of this program. Professor Ugoji Eze Esquire, thank you so very much for being part of this. Engineer Olabode Jones, I've just seen your name now. Thank you. You are always here every week. Thank you so. He's from Russia, by the way. Thank you so very much. So many, we have so many leaders to call. So if I miss your name, please don't be annoyed. Sometimes this thing, this sometimes we just get to miss certain names. But then if I don't call your name, it's not because I don't want to mention it, but it's just that sometimes certain names just get mixed up in the whole thing. So thank you so very much for being part of this program. We will be back again next week. The name of our next VVIP will be the details will be out at some point tomorrow, possibly before my report. If not, then maybe after my report tomorrow. Definitely, we are coming back here next Saturday, and we are going to. I can tell you that we're going to have another DG this time around. Because we have two of them, we're just trying to confirm which of the two of them will be free next Saturday. So we will be back again on Saturday from 4 to 6. Please make it a date with us, because we always like your participation, and I'm sure you too, you enjoy being part of this program, because we always make sure that issues that relate to us as Nigerians are what we discuss here. So I'm sure Nigeria will always be better, like I've always said. So thank you so very much. So on this note, we will be drawing the curtain, but I need to call on Mrs. Caroline Adelako to give us the closing remarks. Mrs. Caroline Adelako, you have the floor now. Where are you? So I can ask you to unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, I've sent. I can't see her.
I can't seem to see her. Okay, Alhaji Adams, can you please give us the closing remarks then? I can't seem to see. Maybe she's dropped out.
Okay. Thank you very much, our chairman. Thank you for